Our first panelist to my left is Phyllis Cutno, Director of the Pew Clean Energy Program. Our next panelist, who's sitting all the way to my left at the end, is retired Vice Admiral Dennis McGinn. Our final panelist, who's sitting in the middle, is Senator John Warner, considered to be among our most distinguished defense experts in America today. Many in the world are skeptical of Iran's nuclear ambitions. Therefore, how would you advise President Obama to act in order to prevent Iran from becoming a country with nuclear warfare capabilities?
National security, energy security, economic security, and to a large extent environmental security are all inextricably linked. So while we could view this as a national or international security challenge, we must recognize that one of the ways we're trying to deal with it is to edge up to our allies, our fellow Western powers, and say, let's constrain Iran's ability to raise revenue with their oil money.
Why there hasn't been a global or domestic binding resolution to help reduce carbon emissions?
In this whole subject of carbon and fossil fuel versus renewables and all of this, it comes down to a very simple, in my judgment, analysis. What does science show, and how convincing is that science back home? And what's it going to cost you in your pocketbook back home to get the added benefits of this, that, or the other thing?
Oil is a global commodity, and the price of it, no matter where it's produced, is set on a global market. And we know that largely that the demand for future energy is going to be coming from Asia. And so we are going to be competing with an emerging middle class in Asia. And so it doesn't matter if it's produced here or where it's produced. The price is still set on a global market. So,
and it eventually will be for natural gas as well.
That's right. So gas is not going to be cheap forever, no matter how much we produce here. So if you look at what's happened just since 2004, you've seen more than $1 trillion invested in the global clean energy economy. You have historic levels of investment last year, $263 billion. And as I said, fierce competition among countries that really want to figure out how to not only attract investment, put citizens back to work, but deploy renewable energy. And small distributed solar capacity is actually the best and cheapest option for many of these emerging economies. Because why? Because you don't have to build a grid, right? You don't have to have a complicated system. You don't have to change something that's been in place for 100 years.
So if we can truly get into a world where we have a diversified portfolio of sustainable, renewable energy, it solves a tremendous amount of problems. If you have renewable energy that is affordable and available, you have water, because you can desalinate, you can purify contaminated water, you can extract water from fractionated rock. If you have energy and water, you mix it with dirt and you have agriculture.